Hello, it is Monday, December 7th, 2020. It's currently 8:20 in the morning. Actually, can't believe it's already 1 week into December already. And I guess speeding toward the end of this crazy, crazy year, 2020. So, firstly, I just wanted to mention that I know that maybe you might have noticed that I don't necessarily dress up before getting on camera. This shirt here is actually a Foo Fighters t-shirt. Went to a Foo Fighters show a little while ago, a few years ago. The actual and if you happen to be a Foo Fighters fan, it was the tour where Dave Grohl had broken his leg. So he actually had sort of like this Game of Thrones kind of like a throne thing that he actually performed out of. And yeah, so that was a few years ago, and it was a really good show. And if you happen to be a Foo Fighters slash maybe Nirvana fan, here's a little story for you. Back in the day, gosh, so we're going back a bunch of years, a couple decades now, like right when Dave Grohl started the Foo Fighters, and they had just had one of their big songs, Big You, I think it's called, Big Me. And anyway, either one of those. Anyway, so they had just debuted pretty much, I think had come out, and he was beginning to tour and building the legacy of the Foo Fighters like back in the day. Um, they were playing a secret show at the Horseshoe. And if you're familiar with the Horseshoe at all in Toronto, they're a legendary bar and concert venue, like tiny concert venue type place in the back. And I was working at a place at the time that and a friend at the time and I found out that there was a secret show that they were playing at the back of the Horseshoe one night. So we found out and crashed the show. And if you've ever seen the video for that particular Foo Fighter song, I think it's called Big Me. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a riff on a Mentos commercial, and Mentos is like a European mint, and it's like really cheesy. And anyway, you know what? I will put. I'm sure I can find the link to the video to that particular song down below. Anyway, the whole joke was that this friend and we crashed this Foo Fighters show. Somehow we got in, and we bought a bunch of Mentos packages of these Mentos mints, and threw them at the band while they were playing that particular song at the Horseshoe that night. And anyway, so that I've been following the Foo Fighters for a very long time, and went to see them. Got this shirt, and I don't like feeling constricted around the neck. So there are certain T-shirts that I just cut the I just cut the I don't know, the collar on, and sometimes even like the arms as well, just because I find them comfortable. I find it much more comfortable. So again, I apologize that I don't necessarily get dressed up to get on camera, and sometimes you might see sort of like this ragtag kind of ensemble that I have together. But this is a really comfortable and one of my favorite t-shirts, and I don't know, it doesn't really look great on camera, but I just thought I'd kind of throw that in there today. So anyway, I guess maybe you can tell that my energy and just myself feeling better. So this has been an interesting, this after this third cycle, just to get a sense of what the pattern is with chemo and how I feel in relation to timing and chemo and all of that. I don't know if I mentioned this, maybe I probably haven't. There is an organization here in Canada called Wellspring, which is a support for folks with cancer and their caregivers and folks touched by cancer. And they have different chapters, I think, in different parts of, I want to say Canada, but definitely for sure here in Ontario, here in Toronto, and I think not just in Toronto, but in other places as well. I've been in touch with them just because I've needed their help with certain things, and um, they also have a specific program in conjunction with, I think, the Pancreatic Cancer Association of Canada. I'm not sure if that's actually what their name is, but anyway, a pancreatic cancer organization in Canada. They have some kind of a partnership with Wellspring where they have additional programs for folks who have pancreatic cancer. And I was put in touch with a volunteer who I did actually talk about this a little bit, I think, in a previous video, now that I'm kind of talking through. So a volunteer who is available to just have chats, either with caregivers or with people with affected pancreatic cancer. And I spoke to somebody last Monday. And so it was sort of in the kind of place where it would have been day 4 of that particular cycle, and the third cycle. And I was feeling nervous about getting on the phone with this person and stuff like that because I didn't know how it was going to go. And I tend to always be a little bit nervous about something new, especially if it feels like it's going to be pretty heavy. It was a really good conversation, and particularly because he had gone through the same chemotherapy treatment that I'm going through, which is the FOLFIRINOX. And he was saying how, the first 4 or 5, 6 days, he would just, be like, boy, like if this is how it's going to be for the duration of the chemotherapy, this is going to be a tough one. He was telling me about his experience of it. And that helped because it not, clearly he's going to have his own experience and I'm going to have my own. But what he was saying to me was that because the FOLFIRINOX, this particular chemotherapy, is every 2 weeks, he had the bottle attachment, all that kind of stuff, that he had the experience, his experience was that he would get the bottle detached and he would kind of have a lift from like, oh, like this is not attached to me anymore. And then maybe feel some energy stuff for like 4 or 5 days. That was pretty difficult. And then he would have about 8 days where he would feel pretty okay. But then he was also telling me that he was taking some extra shots around like white blood cells and things like that. I'm not quite sure. That I guess it was covered along with he had some coverage that drug coverage that allowed him to have this additional thing that helped with his white blood cell counts. Sounds like maybe something that I'm not going to be privy to, but hopefully my white blood cell counts will stay elevated or in a good place. He apparently, like with him, it dipped pretty quickly. And anyway, so there are differences. He was also not treated at Princess Margaret, so it was interesting to hear some of the experiences that he had, specifically around chemotherapy education, because he was telling me that in the hospital that he had gotten his treatment, there was like a 3-hour pre-chemotherapy type like educational thing that he and his wife were able to attend, and they talked them through like what to expect and different things to know. Whereas, and this would have been pre-COVID clearly, but the only thing that I was really provided in terms of what happens before pre-chemo was a nurse sitting down with me and just talking about all the side effects and what to do if any of the side effects happened. But outside of that, there wasn't like a whole lot of information about what to expect sort of life-wise outside of those side effects when it came to chemotherapy. So that was really interesting to hear. And I think Princess Margaret could actually, or at least the oncology department that I'm a part of, which is the gastrointestinal intestinal the GI department, could maybe do a better job around it. If I mean, I've had a really good experience. I feel like with the folks like individually that I have dealt with what's been happening for me. But there are certain areas I think that if there's room for improvement, there's certainly that would be, I think, certainly one of them. But all that to say, I am, this is Monday. I'm going to go in for blood work on Wednesday, and I'm supposed to have my fourth cycle on Friday, depending on what my blood work looks like. And it's good to know. And I think that it's going to be different every time, and there's going to be the cumulative effects and all that kind of stuff. But that there is going to be a time where I am going to feel the fatigue, and I'm going to feel the immense impact of the chemotherapy and how it feels to go through to go through this treatment. But then to know that my energy and even like this time around, my neuropathy has not been that bad. Even though like it's getting colder outside, and if I go out and I maybe sit in the car a little bit too long, like my feet start getting a little tingly and sensitive. But outside of that, especially for the last couple of days, it's not been too bad. So that I can feel, and I've heard this before too, like you feel normal for a few days, and just when you get to the place where you're feeling, pretty good, that's when you go back and you hit you again with the chemotherapy. So, but to know that there, it's not just that level of fatigue and like just how hard, energetically and also mentally it can be during those times. It's not like that the entire time, that there are times when I'm going to have some energy, I'm going to be able to do things, I'm going to just know that like it's going to be like this sort of like roller coaster kind of a feeling, that there is like this pattern over the 2 weeks. It's helpful, and speaking with that volunteer sort of validated that for me. My experience is validating that for me. And so, but in my mind now, I'm like, okay, I have like 4 days to sort of like maximize, different things that I want to get done or do, or, feel like I, just to maybe be able to get things done. Because when, like last, I would say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I could maybe get on camera, do a few minutes, just do whatever housekeeping in relation to the videos once I record it, and then I would feel spent, and that would be it for a little while. And sometimes, like I think it was like either like last Monday or Tuesday or something like that, there's a couple appointments and conversations and things that I would have, but then I would just be done for the day. And I just kind of like feeling like a log or a lump, So, and then that wouldn't feel good. So it's good just to know like that, right now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to get fatigued and all that. That's, like I don't have the same level of energy and stamina that I certainly used to have a few months ago, or maybe a year ago today. I'm very cognizant of being more active. Like I do need to be exercising more, and just keeping my lean muscle, and things like that. And just want to be able to figure out how to create like maybe more of a routine around that self-care stuff when I'm feeling more energetic as well. So anyway, just wanted to get on and update you on that's what's going on. I have last week I didn't have a lot of appointments, which is also like I think a thing that I need to be more cognizant of too. Like right after chemo just to keep things, relatively clear as much as possible. But there's been a need for a lot of appointments. I think leading up to just more of this um, routine that's been built up now. But I think that, it's really the smartest thing for me to do right after chemo, especially that the few days like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after the chemo, to just keep things clear as much as possible so that it doesn't feel like I need to be taxing myself, because it'll just tire me out. Anyway, so that is the update for today. Last couple a minute or so, I was a little distracted because a couple of my cats were doing something a little bit odd over on in my periphery there, but it looks like they're all good. So that's what's happening, and that's my update for today. Feeling energetic. I have a few things that we're going to get done today. I think one of them is actually going to be like pretty big deal for me. I think going to just completely shut down the office today. I'm hoping that we'll be able to do that. There's this recliner chair that I've been kind of stressed out about getting out of there. I think it's going to happen today. Even though our space in our apartment isn't able to quite handle it maybe right now, but the fact that it'll be out of that office and maybe done and all that sorted out, I think will be it'll be just some stress off my shoulders. I'm yes, because it's been something that's been on my mind, and the folks at that place has been really great about giving me some extra time to be able to do that. So I'm very thankful for that. I'll be thankful when it's all done, said and done, and I'm looking forward to that. And fingers crossed that I get it done. Oh, and just an update on my hair. Still falling out. There's still I'm still losing hair, but there's still actually quite a bit of it left, I guess. Or there's, I still have hair left, but I've lost a ton of it. It's been every day just been like shedding and shedding and shedding. But I feel maybe less right now. I don't know, slowing down maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So it's still in progress. So that's it for now. Thank you for following along. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for, just having me. Thank you. And as always, please, hold some love and care for yourself today. Just take some moments, and even if it's just in this moment, to maybe take a breath in, and just when you let it out, just hold some love and care for yourself. And I know, like, every video it's repetitive, but I think it's a really important thing. And to also, show the love and care that you have for others in your life, that you have, because sometimes we forget. And I think that it makes a big difference. So love and care for yourself, love and care for those around you. I hold love and care for you, and thank you for holding love and care for me. And on that note, please take good care, and I'll be talking to you again real soon.